I am still just reeling from the absolute insanity that was Lexington Horse Park. That is some stale ass coffee. Good morning, good morning? No. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay. If you're new here, hello, welcome. I make content about my two horses, Sage, my paint mare, and Petty, my Mustang mare, as well as a little bit of horsey educational content and covering what's happening in the Mustang community. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the Lexington Horse Park. Oh my God. I am just absolutely still reeling over how cool this experience was. I, for whatever reason, had it in my head that the Kentucky Horse Park was just like a bunch of cool riding arenas. I didn't think it was anything that was gonna be like
educational.
My family and I took a little bit of a trip to Tennessee to meet up with a bunch of my husband's family, and it was super fun, but I missed my opportunity a few months ago to see a friend that I haven't seen in 10 years. I have missed her like crazy, but I got super sick and said to her, we're not meeting, this is not happening. So since we were in Tennessee and she's in Kentucky, I said, why don't we meet? We pulled up to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I immediately dropped my stuff off, repacked my bag, and headed up north for 4 hours by myself after sleeping for nothing. Especially with a child on the plane. It was horrendous. Fun fact, I did find a Dutch Bros in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and there's also one in Lexington, Kentucky, which was like crazy. Point being, I ended up meeting up with my friend and she said, why don't we go to the Kentucky Horse Park? And I was like,
cool, bunch of arenas, but like, okay, that's fine.
I didn't know it was gonna be a zoo for horse people. Not only was it just like a really cool zoo, but it was also a petting zoo, but it was like racehorses that had won $6 million. Oh my God. In this video, I'm gonna just walk you guys through everything that I recorded. So for now, I'm gonna jump out of here so that you guys can see all the footage. I'll do a voiceover and then I'll catch you at the end of the video.
Get some baby horses.
Oh, there's two. Yeah. I only saw one, just kidding. Cute. First thing after buying our tickets, we headed to the breeds barn. It was set up to display quite a few varieties of breeds, from thoroughbreds to Mustangs to fell ponies and Shires. It was super hot, so the horses were content standing in their stalls with clean bedding, fans, and lots of hay and water. The park has scheduled showings throughout the grounds, but we were a little early for the breed parade. We hung out for a little while, saying hi to all the ones that stuck their noses up to the gate, and slowly made our way up the hill to the Hall of Champions, stopping to admire the team of Belgians pulling the carriage tour. I'm always amazed by the size of their hooves, but horrified at the thought of the farrier bill. During the Hall of Champions show, we were introduced to a couple horses, Accelerate and Marion Marauder. Accelerate was first, and he was incredibly well behaved. This 11-year-old thoroughbred stallion has won $6.69 million after racing for 4 years before retiring in 2019. He sired 62 winners, resulting in total winnings of $3.28 million. Next up was Marion Marauder, a cheeky standardbred gelding who stood smaller than others but quickly began to outrun, or really outtrot, his competitors. He began kart racing at 2 years old and retired to stud in 2017 before he was found to be infertile. He made his way back to the track once more and finally retired in 2020 with a total earnings of $3.39 million. This handsome boy seemed like he was a playful soul with a kind eye, consistently showing off his build to his audience, but also reaching out to mess with his handler. Stepping back into the barn, we were able to greet some of these champions, one of which, Western Dreamer, turned 30 just a few months before me. You might be able to tell we aren't looking at racehorses anymore, but we had just made it back over to the Breed's Barn to be able to watch the parade. With it being super hot, the park decided to keep the horses comfy and minimal tack, meaning they weren't going to have costumes on. While it's a bummer not to see their typical garb, I'd rather the horses be comfortable and able to be untacked quickly. The first horse was Solvig, the Norwegian Fjord. Most often seen with super cool haircuts, these guys are super sturdy and versatile, but personally I think they look the most flashy in the dressage arena. Next up was a breed I'd never heard of, the Old Kentucky Saddler named Wren. The Old Kentucky Saddler is also known as the Mountain Pleasure Horse. They're the foundation for North American gaited breeds and typically has a disposition and trainability for those of all ages and experience. Last in hand was Miss Callie, the Thoroughbred. Thoroughbreds are mostly known for their racing history, but you can often see Thoroughbreds dominating a multitude of sports. There's even a program similar to the Extreme Mustang Makeover, but designated 2 off-the-track Thoroughbreds called the Retired Racehorse Project. To begin the riding portion, we had the cutest combo, a Shire and a Welsh Cob. Shires like Flynn here are draft horses. They average 17.2 hands and have beautiful feathering around their hooves. Their history has them as war horses pulling heavy artillery in the First and Second World Wars, but also utilized on the farm in the 16th century. This speedy little Welsh Cob is a great example of the breed, which originated in Wales. Despite the harsh winters, these ponies absolutely thrived, eventually to become highly successful kids' ponies as well as mounts for some adults. After the English riders, we moved on to Western. To begin, we first met the Morgan named Austin. Without the existence of the Morgan breed, many other breeds would be completely different today, including the saddlebred, quarter horse, and standardbred. These horses are stunning in the show ring, but are also great for the trails. Lastly was the American quarter horse, Blue. The American quarter horse is arguably the most popular breed in the USA, likely due to their versatility. This breed can be seen on the racetrack, in the show ring, in the rodeo arena, or hiking the trails. With a final wave goodbye from the handlers in the parade, they allowed the audience to come greet the horses from outside the arena. It was wonderful to see them all up close and to help them scratch the sweaty, itchy spots. By far, one of the most educational things about the park is the rich history laden throughout. You can find multiple grave sites of past champions, both standardbreds and thoroughbreds alike. You can walk through more exhibits, jumping into the past of the Arabian, or see the trophy rooms holding all of those stunning prizes, or even just spot a singular horseshoe from the amazing Man o' War. You can see the length of racehorse strides all the way up to Man o' War's 28 feet before you step into the most beautiful display of the champion himself. I had to take a moment to stare in awe at his statue and the gravestones of multiple of his offspring. This horse was one that guided the industry, and his legacy remains at the Kentucky Horse Park, along with his jockey Isaac Burns Murphy, the son of a former slave who went on to win the Kentucky Derby not once, not twice, but 3 times. Lastly, I had just a few random clips of a goose napping near the Man o' War Monument, the amazing Rolex Arena, a dressage competitor riding a scooter alongside her horse, as well as a few glimpses of the draft horse barn housing horses that stand approximately 17 to 19 hands tall, and all the beautiful carriages they had on display.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you get an opportunity to be able to go to the Kentucky Horse Park. I thought it was one of the coolest things, and I am 100% going to go back eventually with my husband and my child, because I also think my kid would just have a great time with all the ponies. If you've ever been, let me know when you went and what you enjoyed most about it. My personal favorite, someone asked me this today and I don't know that I could tell you a favorite. I loved the draft horse barn. I just thought it was so cool that they were all hanging out, sticking their heads out, and there was one horse specifically that I could just tell like her ears were itchy, if that makes any sense. So I kind of creeped my hand up there and see how she felt about it, and then, let's put this down. One of my favorite things to do is gonna look weird, but I put my hand on the back of the horse's ear and then I take my knuckles and rub against the inside of the horse's ears. and they love it. Specifically with mules, I feel like every time I've done that with a mule, they've been like, oh my god, this is the best. So I did that with this big draft horse, and I just thought it was a really fun, cute little bonding moment with a horse. I think her name was Laura, which is so cute. That, or meeting the Shire, or meeting the racehorses and getting to watch them be presented. It just was such a fun educational experience. I highly, highly recommend it. I thought it was so cool, even with it being super hot and humid. I probably will go another time a year, but it was still really, really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you learned something, feel free to leave it down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ding the notification bell, do all the things, and I'll see you in the next video, which should be about the Mustang makeover, Mustang Challenge, the 9-month one that's happening in Vegas this year on my 30th birthday. We leave in just over a week, so I am super excited to take some time to spend with my husband and get to go meet a bunch of the Mustangs and see a bunch of the trainers. I'm just so jazzed. Maybe a little bit of like line dancing thrown in there. I don't know. We'll see whenever it comes out. But if anything, I'll just see you in the next video. Bye guys.